Okay, how can Hindutva be properly tackled? The West sees them as yogis and mystics. Their propaganda is widespread, and as long as India has Muslims and Pakistan exists, there will be support for Hindutva. I don't think that that's true. I think the West does see Hinduism that way. They see Hindus that way. Hindutva and Hinduism are not the same thing. They aren't. Hindutva is a nationalist, like pretty much a jihadist version of Hindus, not really Hinduism, but Hindus overall that are just completely, they just think that Hinduism should be the center of India, which is one of the most secular, pluralistic, and largest secular pluralistic society in the world, right? Again, the second or third largest population of Muslims in the world is in India too, right? And they comprise about 13% of the population. So it's always been known for that. That has been the identity of India from a very, very long time ago. And so, the West does see Indians and Hinduism and Jains and a lot of the other sort of ethnicities and religions in India as yogis and mystics, and they're not wrong about that. But Hindutva is a completely different animal.
Yeah, I want to say that the people who we can rely on to tackle Hindutva are the Indians, the secular activists and the atheist activists in India. And I think they just need, what we need to do is just to amplify their voices, give them support, connect with them, and we don't need to reinvent the wheel. They are in the know. They know what the weaknesses are. They know how to respond to Hindutva, and they're growing. This is a growing anti-Hindutva is a growing movement in India, and we could just find ways to support them as much as we can, right? Especially when we're doing it from a position of safety. The second way that we tackle Hindutva is with Sexy Cali.
Blasphemy.
This is, you normalize blasphemy, okay? This is how you do it, okay?
Quick note, mockery, satire, blasphemy, these are things that work. They're huge. They really get under the skin of people who want to be taken seriously. The best thing you can do is tell them that you don't take them seriously. It worked for Kim Jong-un with the Seth Rogen movie, The Interview. It works for, pretty much it worked for Trump every time he made fun of his hands. Jon Stewart's show, The Daily Show, all of the satire. I mean, this is the stuff that works. This is how you bring down dumb ideas.
Yes. Susanna is saying all roads lead to Sexy Cali. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And she also gave us a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Susanna.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Last question. Oh, okay. I have two questions from Bulbul. Should we answer both of them?
Yeah, let's do both.
Oh, Bulbul is saying Sexy Cali in the house. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Two questions. These are the last two questions we're going to answer. Both of them are from Bulbul.
Do you think Western countries should take back ISIS wives who want to come back?
If they're citizens, yes, and then put them on trial and then imprison them. But they are citizens.
Yeah.
Investigate them. But they are citizens and they should have all the rights as citizens. The level of the crime that you commit does not mean that your rights all of a sudden. This is not how our rights work, okay? It's not you have rights and all of a sudden you commit a heinous crime and all of a sudden you lose your rights. You don't lose your rights. You get punished and you get judged and you get fair representation and you get to defend yourself according to the rights that you have. Okay, you don't all of a sudden lose your citizenship and lose all of that and lose the right for you to be in that country just because how bad your crime was. Okay, that doesn't mean you're not going to get punished. That doesn't mean you're not going to get a fair trial. But if you're a citizen, you're a goddamn citizen. Okay, even if you committed like 5.5 genocides, you're still a citizen. You will be trialed and you will get the punishment that you deserve. Don't undermine the citizenship of your country because of these things, right?
I have a quick thing to say about this too. I mean, it really, a lot of this is a lot of people, not everybody went there to join for the same reason. A lot of people manipulated into it. There were some very young people who went into it. We had a guest here. Please watch that interview. Secular Jihadists had an ISIS ex-wife of a very prominent high-level official in ISIS. Her name is Tanya Joya. She was here and she did like a long talk interview with us, and you'll hear her story, and you'll find out that not every ISIS wife who was there committed a crime. The only way to find out where some of them were liable is to have them come back, put them on trial, investigate what they did and what they were doing, and take it accordingly, like you would with any other case.
Last question.
Last question. How will we do secular activism in India? They're throwing everyone in jail for sedition and blasphemy.
Okay, so
yeah,
there's two answers to this. One, when it comes to the responsibility of the people who are outside, and then the people who are inside. Okay, so the responsibility of the secular activists who are outside is to do the things that the people in India don't get to do so much to reduce the sensitivity associated with that, right? So we have to be part of the normalization of the things that people will think that there needs to be a strong reaction to, just to soften the blow a little bit for the activists inside India. For the activists inside India, this is not a responsibility, but this is a strategy. The reason why this is not a responsibility is because it's easy for somebody like me from a position of safety to say, look, go do this, because none of the consequences is going to be directed at me. But the activists who are taking the risk, one strategy that is used often is safety. Is this what it's called? Safety through numbers, right? So as usually the people who are at the front take the most damage and pay the highest cost, right? But as the movement grows, the relevant safety of doing this kind of activism gets reduced because of the sheer number of people who are doing it. What do you think, Ellie?
I would, in addition to that, I think that, again, both outside and inside, but political involvement. India is a democracy at the end of the day, okay? There are multiple political parties. Political involvement. Go out there, get out the vote, start grassroots movements, put candidates, support the right candidates, not just in the central federal government, but also at the municipal level, at the provincial level. Do the same thing. If you people outside India who want to help, have lobbying activities. For example, if in the U.S., right, the Indian American community in the United States is the highest paid. Like on average, like they make the most money. They're one of the most successful at the highest earning communities, even more than white people, more than Asians, other Asians, and so on. So get your forces together, get your financial resources together, lobby government officials, ask them to put pressure and to promote your agenda on the Indian government. That's the way to do it. Politics and political activism is something that I know people, I'm not into politics, I'm apolitical. No, but if you're not into politics, then you're just not into the world around you and everything that's happening and the way that it affects people. You have to be politically involved if you want to make a change. I mean, activism and hashtags can only go so far.
Actually, that's a very important thing. Yeah. Okay. So I was talking about more of the bottom-up activism, but it needs to be complemented with the top-down approach. You can't they need to work with each other, right? So very good point. Anyways,
look at like AOC and Ilhan Omar and these people. Like, this has completely changed the face of democratic politics in the U.S. And these are people who ran unopposed, essentially. I mean, they were obviously going to get elected, and they don't have a whole lot of voter support behind them. Like if they ran in a contested territory, a contested region in the U.S., they'd probably lose. But the fact that they're there and they have a platform has completely changed the face of democratic politics in the U.S. too. So it really makes a difference.
Let me just add on a good note. I even though I am extremely pessimistic about the future of India in the short term, I am also extremely optimistic about the future of India in the long term, right? If you just look at the short term, you can see the BJP and Hindutva rising in power and gaining more and more control over people's lives. It doesn't seem to be dying down anytime soon. In the long term, though, if you look at the difference of views between the younger generation and the older generation, is night and day. And at some point, these younger people are going to replace these old politicians, and I can't wait to see what all the potential. Like India is already taking over the planet. I can't like imagine if all those secular views and all those non-dogmatic, non-superstitious views that is more common among the young generation, and all the enlightenment views that are common among the younger generation in India, once that takes over in politics, I can't imagine what that's why India's I think future is even brighter than China's, because it's like China doesn't have that, coming. There's not something that's going to replace the powers that be in China, but India has that, and eventually it will replace these people. So this is the beauty of democracy, right? Because in China they can keep the, like, even though there's both China and India are being governed by some dangerous ideas, you can see that because there's elections in India, you could see a path for that to be replaced at some point when the younger generation replace them. But you don't see that path right now, at least in China. So I am extremely optimistic about India's future.
Can I say, I know we said that was the last, but there's an encore question that's a very quick answer. Fatma is asking, do you think Islam is basically a cult? And I will just give you a general answer on this. The only difference between a religion and a cult is size. That's it.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, there's technically, Susanna could tell us more differences, but for the layman, yes, that's the difference.
Yeah, in terms of the way they function, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Hey guys, if you want to join these streams live, get your comments and questions read by Ali and Armin and the guests, and most importantly, to get full access to the full video versions of all these episodes, become a patron. Link in the description below.